Hey guys, what's up? I don't know where to start because I have been gone and I've been like in my own. I'm not doing my own thing. It's like when you're working for somebody else. The time that you used to have is now allotted to doing something else, and that's why I haven't been doing the podcast. I have been focusing on the job that does help bring income in, and I mean the podcast brings in some, but not like this other job. Whew, I hope everyone is doing fine. Oh yeah, welcome to Lovely J Podcast with Miss Coco Belt. I hope everyone is doing fine. I truly have missed talking to everyone. I miss seeing even those who be marking me. I miss seeing y'all mock me because I know when you being me. I miss that. I'm in the mix right now of just to is all of that. But through it all, I'm going to tell you that when I kept my mind, and every day that I keep my mind steadfast on God, the things I see people do to me and say about me, it has no power. It has no weight. And I'm saying this to someone out there that some of you have been wanting things for a long time to take place in your life, just like I still am. It's still things I'm wanting. But I want to tell you, hold on, because I have seen God take November all the way up until now and give me things that I used to put in the cart and take out because I couldn't afford it. Y'all don't hear me. I seen him take things and just where people that I know said I wasn't, of any value. It sometimes takes a stranger to come in and let. And I don't know why my voice is a little hoarse right now. It feels a little hoarse, but I don't know why. But yeah, I saw the email. I'm not gonna read it to you, but I saw the email where they was like, Miss Coco, we want you to we want to be on your podcast and we want you on our podcast. So there are still valuable things that I am saying, and I never stepped away from the value in knowing the Word of God and still studying the Word of God. That's a lifelong process. Make no mistake. You're going to be forever studying the Word of God, and that's a good thing because everything, I remember that, no, I was going to say that one time, but it's not that one time. But when God gives me something to study, it's usually because I have a battle coming up in that area. And then when I hit that area, it's like, okay, we got this. We ain't worried about nothing because we got this. I'm not saying just because you don't worry don't mean the pressure's not there. Okay? The pressure still be there. It's just not worrying about the pressure. You feel the pressure, but you're not worried about it. And that's a beautiful feeling, is to know that God is with us all the time. I need to take my medicine. I don't know why I'm speaking hoarse. It just, no, I'm joking. I did eat some sausage, so. Ooh, I had the best little sausage and egg burrito tonight that I cooked. Okay, so that was so good. I just threw that in there and then top it just like that. It was so good, y'all. All it had was egg, turkey sausage, cheese, and the little flour tortilla. That was it. And on the side, I did have a baked potato. Baked potato with some butter and black pepper. That was all. Drunk my little mushroom drink, cognac jelly. Another dose, but it is time for me to go up. I gotta go pick up a prescription, and I'm not sure if I am gonna go up this week or I'm gonna wait till I finish out the 7.5s. I don't know. I still have a whole box of 7.5 to finish out, and that's like 4 weeks worth. But you know, when you start feeling that appetite coming back, you know it's time to move up. I've been doing pretty good on it. I don't know if I've lost pounds or not. I know some of my clothes are loose, and then some of them just feel the same. I wore a pair of pants the other day, and I was like, girl, did you gain weight? Because they felt the same, so I don't know. I can't tell you on that. I haven't been on a scale, and I don't know when, and really don't got no plans on being on a scale no time soon. Because sometimes the scales are like, when you don't see what you want to see, then it kind of depresses you, and or negative thoughts, intrusive thoughts that slip up. Now those will slip up. They will slip up and try to tell me that I failed. So I'm very, very careful about that. Don't really care to know. I just really want the health benefits. That's what I really want. Okay. But the side effects they're not like they used to be. I started taking that Upspring. Go on TikTok in my showcase. I'm Jamie the Advocate on TikTok. In my showcase, I have these pills, not pills, but these drops. They're drops. They look like candy or a cough drop. And they are called Upspring Upset Stomach. That's all it says. Upspring Upset Stomach. It helps so much. It's got vitamin B6. It's got lemon. What else it got in it? It's mostly made a lot stronger. And taking that drop every night. Now, there was 2 nights I had to take the drop. It may have been 3 times. 3 times in one day. Because I had a really bad stomach ache. And they tell you, do not take over 4. So, you know, if I took it 3 times, you know, I was really going through it in that moment. Where is my... I'm talking to y'all. I'm supposed to be looking for my meds for the night. What's next? What's next on my agenda? Oh, my hydration thing. I've got to get back onto my hydration. I don't feel like I'm where I need to be on that. I'm going to take this allergy pill because And I don't know what I've been going through lately, but I've been congested. So I'm going to go ahead and take this allergy pill. In my head, I still feel very large. In my head, I feel very large. Like, I feel like I'm still almost 500 pounds. I'm watching where I'm walking and watching how I'm sitting down. And it's like my stomach is overthinking. But then when I look at my pictures, I see that I have come a long way. And I don't take as many pictures as I used to. On that first time when I started doing the weight loss thing in 2020, I was always taking pictures and just posting and side by side and posting. Now I may post a couple, or if I do the side by sides, I keep those for myself. Those are for my personal record, so I don't try to share out too much when it comes down to this Mounjaro that I'm on. I just come on and talk about what I feel comfortable talking about. But I've learned that everything ain't everybody's business. Everything I go through on that ain't everybody's business. When I change doses and things, that ain't everybody's business. It's not. It's not. And that's part of my independence right there. I love my independence. I don't want to be tied down with someone else's story. And if their story don't work out, then my story got to go down too. Oh, heck no. No. I learned that. 2020, when I was doing all that working out and stuff, and people were like, oh, I want to work out with you. And there were some that were working out with me. But then when they got tired and they stopped posting, then it made me feel like, well, I ain't got to post today. And today turned into tomorrow. Tomorrow turned into a week. A week turned into a month. No, I don't want to feel that type of burden anymore. This is my life. This ain't no game. I tried that, been there, done that. It didn't work then. It's not going to work for me now, because now I'm a lot more wiser at what I'm going through now than I was back then. I'm a lot older too. Back then, when you look at 2020, I was, what? I'm 48 now. So you subtract 5. I was like 43. I was just going into my 40s. Now that I've been here a while, at 48, I see. As the world turns, you need to mind your own business. Be careful what you share with others. Because the same ones you're sharing with, they may have a different agenda for you. Or it may not be purposely done. They just might be weak in that area. So when they come around and they want to eat sweets, and there's nothing wrong with eating sweets, just do it in moderation. Or they want to do things that that you're not into anymore. That's enticing. And then you got to fight with yourself if you say yes. You got to fight with yourself if you say no. I'm not putting my mind through that. That's emotional. That's volunteering to be emotionally abused. You're volunteering yourself to set yourself up to be emotionally abused of the highs and the lows. I'm not going through that. So me talking about Mounjaro right now, that's what I'm giving you, what I want to give you. But as far as anything else, if I want to give it to you, I give it to you. But for the most part now, I've kept this to myself. I mean, y'all know I'm on it, but I go through my shares of ups and downs with certain parts of it. But I'm not as detailed as I used to be. I'm not on here every day going, hey, this is what happened, that's what happened. That's not gonna be me. That's some social media stuff. I don't want social media for my stomach, for my health. Okay. Now what I talk. No, that's why I said I can't do that trip no more with nobody else, because I had people who were supposed to be losing weight or on the weight loss journeys, and they was in my inbox depressed. And after I finished talking to them, sometimes I would get depressed because it would make me think about, well, am I doing what they doing? Let me check myself out. No, I wasn't. Some days I wasn't as sure about things. And I don't want to doubt like that again. That was miserable. It really was. I remember one day I stopped working out because somebody told me I was too fat to be working out. And they was telling me, oh, you're doing all that, but it's not helping. That was a horrible feeling. And that's what I'm honest truth, they told me, you're doing all that for nothing. At that time, I was jogging, doing jumping jacks, had then lost a ton of weight, got all the way down to 340 pounds. 340 pounds from 437. Now, if you go back a little bit further about my true weight loss, or how far I've come, you will have to start in the late 1900s, 2000, I say 2005. Yeah. 2005, I've always been obese. Just always been there. 2005, though, I quit doing drugs. Excuse me. So this is just history on it, and just because I want to give it to you. I want to tell you this part. 2005, I quit doing drugs. I've been doing drugs since, a child, basically. I quit doing the drugs in 2005, and I gained weight. Gained a lot of weight. Not only did I gain weight, but I was in pain because I had been failed on my part, with my health. And so here I am. I wanted to work out. I was so heavy that I couldn't breathe. I couldn't take steps. Like little steps was just, it was hard. I remember my butt being so far up on my back. And I was getting close back to that. Before I started Mounjaro, I was headed back to that. My butt was so far up on my back that you could just reach up and not even reach the back, not even touch the back without going through the butt. I mean, that's how bad it was. My arms were so heavy, I could not clap. At this time, I could not weigh on a regular scale. We didn't have all these digital scales that go up to 700-800 pounds back then. I think the highest they went was 400. So I had to go to the truck stop. And where they weigh the trucks at, that's where I went and got weighed. I went over there. I weighed 560 pounds. I don't know if y'all remember the fitness place called Curves. Well, a friend of mine talked me into joining Curves. $10 down, $30 a month. Now, I wasn't working at this time. Oh, excuse me. I wasn't working at this time because, I had some disabilities going on. I was out on, what was it? Workers' comp. Okay, skip all that. So I start going the curves. They had to use 2 measuring tapes to go around my. Can't see none of that. And he was kind of bragging because he didn't drop about 100 and some pounds, maybe 200 pounds since he had been locked up because he heavy set too. So he was bragging on that thing. He was milking that thing that he had lost all that weight. Now he could see his neck, and he had a neck now. He had smaller arms, smaller legs. He didn't have the belly. None of that. So he was looking good for himself, had lost the weight. He was looking healthy. But here I then took his place. Now I got bigger than he was. And when he went and got locked up, I think he was around 500 and some pounds. Now I was bigger than him. My weight was 560 pounds, was my heaviest weight. Until I got on the low glycemic diet. I had a doctor, his name was Dr. Matthews, Dr. Dan Matthews. Good man. That man knew his stuff. There was only one thing, though, about him, though. He believed when you reach a certain age that once the quality of your life is gone, you're gone. And that's kind of sad because God can bring you back anytime. But still, he was a good doctor. And that's his belief, that's just him. But he looked at me and he was like, girl, you getting bigger and bigger. Each month you coming in here, you're gaining weight. So he took me off all those pills, those pain pills and things. And he said, I'm going to tell you what you really need. And I was like, oh, God, here we go. I thought he was going to tell me to go exercise. Now, I don't know if Dr. Matthews believed. I don't know if he believed in the Bible or he was of a different religion. I think he was of a different religion because he loved the Samuel Adams beer. He loved those. But I think he was of a different religion. I mean, it wasn't bad, the things he was saying. And I'm going to tell you, he was absolutely right, but it was wrong in God's eyesight, but he was absolutely right about what he was saying. And, if I'd been married, it'd been the right thing to do. But I wasn't married, so the sex didn't work out, and I eventually ended up didn't like the guy. So after I found out I didn't like the guy as much as I thought I did, that led to me 7 years with no sex. So that knocked that out. Still trying to hang in there with curves though. Really didn't lose any weight, but eventually I started losing weight. I started walking around a little bit more, getting around a little more. Because, once you start meeting guys, you start feeling a little better about yourself. And you start getting out, going around places. I had a young guy I met. He was locked up in prison named James. And James was like my prison hero. I knew there was no chance of us really having a relationship together. Mistakenly sent a picture to him and had that in the background. And he was like, "You're a beautiful girl, but you gotta clean that bedroom. Ah, dang. What you got back there? Trash pile? Clothes closet?" Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that made me start making my bed up and trying to keep my room decent from then on. Okay. So moral of the story, I started off at 560 pounds. Dr. Matthews says go have sex, and because sex give you those endorphins, it makes you feel like somebody, it gives you life. And I'm not telling anybody to do that. If you're not married, don't be doing that. Don't do it, because the emotional consequences that come behind it, the emotional and spiritual consequences that's behind going out just having sex, thinking you're just gonna lose weight, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Trust me. You may lose the weight, but once they break your heart, you're going to put so much back on, more than what you lost. Not worth it. Not worth it. See, Doc didn't tell me about that part. He didn't tell me about that part, that these guys get you out here, and once your heart get broke, then you go back to eating the same way. Then you don't feel as pretty anymore. And I didn't know that at that time, so it is what it is. Anyways, he said, low glycemic. I just want you to eat this. Pick you out some foods on there and eat it. Stick with it. Move around if you need to. Try to get you at least three times a week exercise. I did this from 2007 up until 2019. And that was when I would get my heart broke. In 2019, and in a year's time, I gained 100 and some pounds because I went into a major depression. And that's what I was telling y'all. The sex may be good, but eventually you're going to catch feelings, emotions, and when they're not satisfied, when they're not met, or when you catch the man or woman with somebody else and they're not treating you like you're a priority anymore, it breaks you down. You turn to food, you turn to depression, you turn to pity parties. You don't care to go anywhere, don't care to do anything. You wonder how many people know what happened to you. That's what I went through in 2019. But I will say, I dropped that weight from 560 pounds all the way down to, I got all the way down to 390 something. And I kept that weight off. Till I got with the wrong man. And I'm just keeping it real because most of you already know my life anyway. So it's no need in me sitting back, At one time, I didn't want people to know that this last weight gain was because of the man. But dog, the pain was so deep it wouldn't go away. I could not get it to go away for nothing. I can look in the mirror today and I can say, Girl, I can speak to me now. But I was mad at me about that. I was like, girl, you knew better. You knew better. God didn't warn you one time. God was warning you like 100 and some times. God was chasing you down, giving you information. And there you still kept letting that man use you. That's where that weight gain came from. A broken heart. And it could have been fatal. It could have been worse because there was shame and embarrassment that went along with it, because with that guy, I thought I was really close to him, and I was telling him things that I didn't. You're not finna try to hold on to nobody that don't want to hold on to you. Now, I stuck by that. Somewhat. Somewhat. But I was, and then, we had so much going on. It was things I didn't want to admit, things I was just hiding. It wasn't that I was lying about a lot of things. I just didn't mention it. The things that we were going through and how close we really became. But everybody else knew how he felt about me except for me. And it would be times when I would get around his baby mamas and I'd be like, why are they laughing? I mean, what? I would feel weird is going around certain places. I would just feel weird as if people knew what I had just told him. That kind of weirdness. Like, where did they hear that from, or why are they acting like that? That's the kind of weirdness that I felt. And then when he started showing up, woman then or I sounded so gone to her that she was like, Miss Bowden. And she just kept asking me these questions and asking me these. She said, you seem like you're an outgoing person, but what I'm hearing from you is depression. And she said, how long have you been like this? I said, since February. You haven't talked to anybody hard? Nope. And then that's when she was like, oh, you got major depression. Anything over a certain amount of weeks, now we're talking about major depression. You're not just depressed anymore. Now you've went into something major and chronic because it's not going anywhere. It took me till July of 2020 to start back feeling like myself again. Then I wasn't 100% there because when I came back to life, I came back with PTSD. What's it called? It's not chronic. It's when I got amnesia. Same year would have been 2020. The whole time from 2019, the amnesia started in 2020, February, around, I would say, about April. After all this stuff came rushing back to me, by April and May, I didn't remember anything. After getting dumped on like that, and then all of a sudden you go blank. You don't remember anything. I didn't remember childhood experiences, none of that. Went blank. Don't know why I went blank. Went blank. Amnesia. Have I got my memory back since then? Sometimes. Some of it I do, and I'm not... When I asked God to fix my brain, I didn't know He was going to shut it down. Back-to-back trauma. If you was to measure it by physical trauma to the head, you could say that it would be equivalent to someone being beat in the head multiple times. And that's what people don't realize about CPTSD, PTSD. It's brain damage. It's not just trauma or a person reliving things that have happened to them. It's that brain that got beat up. The brain had to fight. The brain had to shut down. My brain had to shut down. See, people don't know I was on overload. I just came out of one situation and thinking now I'm going to get some rest. I just finished doing 2 years in therapy. Well, it was close to 2 years. I just finished doing therapy. Now here I was, right back in the same place, except for it's a different person beating me up now. If you beat a person emotionally or verbally, you might well hit them with your hands. Because you didn't knock the life out of them. You didn't cause lesions on their brain. Never gonna be the same. I knew that about me. I knew I was never gonna be the same. I knew when I came back. See, because when I came back and started getting my memory back, I said, ooh, no wonder I never liked being around certain people. Because when my memory came back, I knew what they had done. I couldn't remember it during all these years, but once it came back, I had to deal with it. I had to forgive a lot. Not a passive forgiveness, neither. I had to forgive. I had to let it go. But I'm just giving y'all this as background. I gained my weight after that. I didn't deal with it right. I didn't deal with that situation right. I mean, how do you deal with situations like that right? Besides to go ahead and take the hit. Just take the hit and go through what you got to go through, and that might be gaining weight. Probably, you know what? Gaining weight might have been the best thing for me in that time. Because what if I had been still running, trying to find him and chase after him? I mean, I know I always tell myself I wouldn't do that no more. But what if that would have been the case? Y'all, let me shut this door so I can lay down. I'm about to wrap it up. But gaining all that weight and my body's still sore. I'm probably still 400 pounds. I'm probably somewhere still in the fours right now. Because even if I would have lost 100 pounds by now, I still would have been up there. You know why? Because when I started out, I was and you know what? I still was going through the invisible thing. 2021 is when I started realizing I was dealing with the people coming in and out of my house and, that thing. That was 2021, so I come right out of that and went right into that. And just living and learning lets you know that it's a lot out here. But if God saw fit to shut my brain down for that year and some, because it was almost 2 years, the next time that dude would see me, I barely knew who he was. I didn't remember anything about him like that. And when he would try to talk to me, I wouldn't really talk to him because I didn't know who he was. And so when he would send messages, I tell him, I don't know who you are like that. He thought I was playing, but that was real. I really didn't know who he was. Probably the only ones I really knew was my grandchildren, to be honest. They probably was the only ones I knew because they was in the latter years of my life, so they were the closest to me during those times. Yep. But people think you playing and you joking until they experience it themselves. Amnesia, it had to happen. The weight gain, it had to happen. If the weight gain had not happened, I wouldn't be on the Mounjaro. I wouldn't be, taking better care of my blood sugar. It was just things that came with this fall that I wouldn't have really knew I needed if it had not happened. Yeah. Anyways, thanks y'all for listening. I'm gonna go. I felt like talking tonight. I gotta go. I'm gonna try to go to sleep early and maybe catch a sitcom or two. I hope I don't be so long next time in coming back talking to y'all. I really enjoy it. I do. Peace, love, and happiness.